I'm Margaret Ann Windsor, if this goes up. Kidnapping 41 from Buckingham Palace. Given the name of a twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey Childers, I married to Childers. Both twins, Peggy and Carl, were dead. Moulton, Alabama. Their mother was unwed, and she killed them. The family covered it up. I've just put this on a video, and to give the background and what's going on, I run out of time. So if anybody cares, I've been putting this on like volumes in a book or something, the crimes committed against me and my sons here in front of everybody in plain view, and how they, it's a joke, like an April Fool joke when they put antifreeze in me and I should have died. I mean, it's ongoing what they've done to me. I was threatened with a lobotomy, and that's on the Watergate tapes that were erased, and then they supposedly fixed them and something else was on them. No, I became aware of that after the antifreeze in 80, and I was across the state line in Huntsville taken illegally and worked for the DA. They were role-playing, and they did the Watergate tape thing right there in the DA's office where I was working. And then I remembered, of course, my memory for a while, I had brain damage, and I could type. I didn't know if my children were going to be killed. It was horrible. And I remember Gonzalez, one of the doctors that's so involved in this, and he's in Atlanta, and I think he's still in practice. But he was actually at Parkland Emergency Hospital when John Kennedy was brought there, shot and brought there. Now that John Kennedy and his father was ambassador to England, sent there by Roosevelt, and he was there when Kennedy came in and was shot. This doctor I'm talking about that took me to be lobotomized. He drugged me. He took me across from Marietta. He was up next to Northside Hospital. His office was. He drugged me, took me over there. I knew what was going on. I couldn't do anything. He was dragging me in. It was a clinic that was still there back in '82. It's where the trolley crossing in College Park. It's a suburb of Atlanta. Might as well call it in Atlanta. But anyway, I remember going in and I thought, he's going to kill me. And it was a small waiting room, and I thought, if I can cry out, I could think. But they'll just think he's a doctor and he's dragging me. Nobody's going to help me. He took me to the back of the clinic. It was a small clinic. It was still there in '82. He took me back there, and I can remember where I lay. I can remember wishing somebody would help me. And I remember there were doctors and nurses in the room across from me that knew what was going on. And there was a doctor behind me, and then there was Gonzalez looking over me with a smile on his face. I couldn't speak. I couldn't move. A phone call was placed, and if Great Britain or my family didn't come through for the Americans with whatever they were asking, I'm a hostage, then they were going to lobotomize me. I can remember the fear in me, and the doctor behind me, and finally, there was helping Gonzalez. Finally, the call comes through, and evidently Britain ended up again, and my family, and paid whatever price it was, and I lived. So I'm just talking about the few things in life. It's been ongoing, and it still is. I wrote about mind control murders, Larry Flint. I'd worked for doctors before I found out about my kidnapping and my real name. Larry Flint was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, and he wrote an endorsement, April '84, in which he says I knew who was responsible for his shooting in Lawrenceville, and I'd written about. Anyway, this is my Uncle George Elizabeth's father, and this is Roosevelt, who appointed Kennedy, JFK's father, as ambassador to England. And this is supposed to be the Queen Mom, which they're illegal. They helped force out my father, 99 years still put on my birth, I'm Victoria II, legal heir to the British Crown. Now, the Rothschilds, Rockefeller, you know them as the Freemasons and the Illuminati, that's the global government. Elizabeth is illegal. She's my cousin, I hate to say, that everybody admires. And she's part of the Illuminati. And Charles is a part of it, and so are the Clintons, and probably most of the presidents. I don't think Jimmy Carter was. I hope not. But anyway, what I was going back to, the twins are dead. Nobody's paid for that or even mentioned it because it would lead to what they're doing to me, like the Warren Commission and JFK. So while the crime is going against me and I don't know where my children are, and I beg and plead, my kidneys are just about shot from what they've done to me, and my lungs, etc. But I wanted to go back to before I found out. I didn't find out until '83 about my kidnapping. I want to go back to when I finished high school and worked for Curl Wholesale Company, which was an electronic that sold electronics. I'm talking fast to try to get this on the video so it's a little bit complete and you understand what I'm saying, if anybody out there cares, all right? But it gets into web core and electronics that lead to later me finding out about mind control and mind control murders done in patterns, like the Larry Flint shooting. The guy was programmed to shoot. So I worked there for a year, August right out of school, 57, till I married August 18th, John Guy Childers from Wichita, Kansas. At least that's the name given me that I married him. I later found out he had ties to the CIA. That was way later on. But I want to go back to when we were married. I dated him just for a month. I was so in hell with this woman, Lina, that he killed her twins, and I actually made her living. And Phillips, who I don't know, I thought Philip was a half-brother. He retired from the ATF in Atlanta, lives there now. And I don't think he was born to the woman. I think he was kidnapped and put there, too, 4 years after me. But anyway, I married John, and I dated him from August, like I say. I went to work for Curl Wholesale the 1st of August of 57 out of high school. I finished at Moulton, Alabama. And I dated John not long. I was trying to get away from Dempsey. I mean, it was so much hell I couldn't take her. And I was meant what she was doing to me. And I was trying to get Philip out of it because I felt responsible for him and I loved him. I thought he was my brother. I still love him like he was my brother. But anyway, John, I met him. He had a Cadillac like Elvis Presley, the convertible. He had an Imperial. And anyway, I know now he was told to marry me. Well, I dated him for a little while, and he went to Orlando, Florida to visit on vacation his brother. Well, he called me and said he had a ticket out at the airport, and he was going to fly me down there and would be married in his brother's home, Wayne Childers and Grace, who were very nice. Wayne was very nice. But so I flew down there, and here is part of just one of the crimes committed that's ongoing. I found out when I got down there that John had sold a leased boat, or a mortgage boat, let me rephrase that, and he was charged with crossing the state line with the leased Cadillac, which is not, they were after him. And I didn't know about being kidnapped until '83 in my real name, Margaret Ann Windsor, Victoria II, the legal heir to the crown. So John was charged, and they were looking for him. I didn't know this. After this so-called honeymoon was a honeymoon in hell, because suddenly this man has no money, and he's a fraud. So he dumps me off. Still had the Cadillac. He dumps